Apologies for the absence, but I'm back and fighting fit. Hello and welcome to episode 22 of the Fish Tank. And it's been a traumatic week to say the least, as a lot of Sheffield has been flooded. And there is now also enough episodes of the Fish Tank for everyone in a squad of rugby union players, a matchday squad of 22, to watch each episode of the Fish Tank in turn. So anyway, it's time for Apology of the Week. And I apologise for doing this show rather later than normal. So I apologise for not actually being here and not turning up. But I also apologise, it's something of a double apology this week. I apologise for, in the last episode, episode 21, for making jokes about Glastonbury being like flooded and covered in mud. Obviously where I live has just sort of been flooded, and as a result, you know, it's not really all that funny. Or not as funny as it made out, but not to worry. So anyway, what's been happening this week, stroke last week? Well, quite a bit. Wimbledon has started, and there are no British players left in Wimbledon. Tim Edmund, I think, got the furthest out of anyone, and unfortunately was knocked out because he's not all that good. And also, by the way, this episode of Jimbo Studios' Fish Tank will also be going on Tim Edmund's personal website, Timbo Studios, which is something to look out for. But the problem is Tim Edmund apparently learnt to play against the wall of his mum and dad's house. And forever, he just hit a tennis ball against the wall of his house for, years and years on end. And then he actually sort of got to play matches as well. And in the first tournament he ever played, and he got knocked out in straight sets in the semi-final. I think he was beaten by Gary Dorr. But anyway, there you go. And also, Tony Blair has resigned as Prime Minister to be taken over by Gordon Brown. Well, not taken over, he's had his job taken over. Tony Blair's not himself been taken over. But Tony Blair apparently went to Prime Minister's questions, then went in and said goodbye to his cabinet. He then said goodbye to the bookcase and the Mirror as well. And he finished with the words, "That is that, the end, goodbye." So, interesting words to say, for the end of his 10 years in Premiership. And also, in one of the last questions that was asked at Prime Minister Question Time was by the MP for Sheffield Hillsborough, my MP, Angela Smith. She said, "What would your message be to the people of Sheffield in the times of these floods?" And apparently Tony Blair's answer was he'd like to apologise, and it basically said, "It's a traumatic time. I'd like to apologise for the damage caused by my 10 years as Prime Minister, and also the floods, but not to worry." And then Cherie Blair also said, "We won't be missing you to the press," which is interesting words from the pillar box mouth, Cherie Blair. So she's not the world's most attractive person, I'll be fair. So anyway, it's time for the Celeb-ometer, and which celebs can I get on the show? Well, Glastonbury Festival was on a few weeks ago, and if anyone performed at Glastonbury Festival who would like to also perform on the Fish Tank, then that would be perfectly acceptable. Amy Winehouse, perhaps, she performed in a fairly drunken state. Basically, there's not much wine in her house, shall we say, because she's drank it all. She was rather drunk. She sang, "They tried to make me go to rehab, but she said no, no, no." Which, in hindsight, perhaps yes would have been a better answer. Well, not to worry. Anyway, it's time for Headline of the Week. And this headline is from the Daily Telegraph. And it says, "Motorists to do road sign crash course." Which is rather interesting, if they suggest that motorists should just crash into road signs. Rather a novel idea. You get the odd road sign, old people crossing the road, speed limit 30 miles an hour. Or as the ones we've got in Sheffield at the moment, ferry on the A637. Anyway, and also it's time for Quote of the Week, which is from the rather attractive tennis player Maria Sharapova. And she says, "My shoulder is not where I want it to be, but I've done a good job monitoring it." So I'm not sure where her shoulder's gone. Perhaps it's gone up to the side of her head, perhaps, or something like that. I know the feeling, actually. I was... when I came to Jimbo's house to record this day, I was just walking past the post office and I found my left kneecap stood outside it. I've never seen anything like it. So yeah, there you go. I hope you've enjoyed this edition of Fish Tank, and I'll see you next week. Bye.